What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Bleav in Rams, part of the Bleav Network. You always laugh when I do that, huh? Erin, Coscarelli, Tyler Dragon of USA Today. We've got a great show for you, but first, subscribe, comment, rate this podcast. Do you love us? Come on, show us a little love. Follow us. You can also catch us on Bleav TV. We're on social media. You can follow me for sure on Instagram, Erin Coscarelli. And Tyler Dragons on Twitter. Do you say Twitter or you say X?
I still say Twitter. I'm old school,
I do too.
So I'm going to keep it with Twitter.
Yep, we're old school over here. Bleav in Rams, though, we have got a lot to get to. So much has happened here in LA and in the other part of the division, NFC West. We'll break down first week of free agency. What's the one question we still have about the Rams? Colin Cowherd, by the way, ranked the Rams second best in the NFL. We're going to give you his answer why. Yeah, I know, Ty. And then we're going to give you the latest signings in LA. Some action has been happening the last few days. But first, we've got to pay our sponsors, guys. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for betting on all the madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan, a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion, the largest selection of odds on literally everything. College basketball. By the way, a $200,000 bracket contest. Yeah, we've got a few Cinderella stories. How are you getting in? Have you filled out your brackets yet, Ty?
I have filled out my bracket, and I have Houston winning it all.
Yes.
Houston winning it all. I like the way they play basketball. Now, I'm not no college basketball aficionado, but just from the little that I've seen, I'm rolling with Houston.
There you go. H-Town says, Tyler, a $200,000 bracket contest. I'm telling you, BetOnline does continue to be your number one sports betting source. So from every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline's got you covered with all kinds of odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Speaking of winning, we'll have to let you know, too. We'll follow up with what Bleav in Giants Bob Papa was saying about the Rams being the strongest team in the West next year. Kind of have to agree with him. We'll get into all of that. But first, Tyler, you know about this. Inside linebacker was something checked out. The Rams kind of needed to look at this offseason. You were talking about it, even despite having Omar Speights, and losing Christian Roseboom, Jake Hummel in free agency. They addressed it this week. A one-year deal, Nate Landman. He was a starting linebacker for the Falcons the last two seasons. How did you feel about that? Was it important for them to sign someone like him?
It was important. I think that they improved a little bit, I guess, but in my opinion, and no offense to Nate Landman, he's not the answer for the Rams. They still need, in my opinion, to address the position in the NFL draft. I would not be surprised if within the first 2 or 3 rounds that they draft the inside linebacker. I mean, really, the Rams haven't had a standout middle linebacker since Bobby Wagner left. And he was obviously still playing and doing wonders with the Commanders. But, I mean, he's a tackling machine with over 100 tackles for over a decade almost. So the Rams need somebody like that in the middle. And I'm not sure Landman is that type of player that can fill that need for the Rams. But I like to see that the Rams know that that is a position of weakness, that entire unit. And so they're working on addressing it, and that this is a good start.
Yeah. The Rams are not done, but they have been certainly very active, if not the most active, maybe in free agency with just 1 week down. And one of the things that was really interesting, I do enjoy hearing Colin Cowherd's takes. I don't always agree with them. They're hot takes for a reason, but I do sort of want to get your take on, what he said recently He did a power rankings. And what he said about the Rams was really interesting. So Colin Cowherd put the Rams among all 32 teams. Guess where he put them?
Among all 32 teams. I would say in the top 5.
You're okay. You're getting warmer.
I'm getting warmer.
Yeah.
Top 3?
Yep.
Top 2?
Yeah, 2. He put him at 2. He didn't put him at number 1. He put him at 2. And he gave a lot of interesting reasons. Obviously, he put the Eagles at number 1. But he said this. He said, go back to that game in the snow in Philly, which we talk about on the show all the time. They're down at the 15-yard line with the chance to go with 2 turnovers in for the win. He says this is a real team headed in the right direction. He does not suffer fools, Colin Cowherd. He is honest almost to a fault. It's obviously why he gets paid the big bucks. But his reasons were this. They kept their best player in Matthew Stafford. They added to their receiver core with Davante Adams, and they shored up their defensive line with Poona Ford. He said this Rams defense has been, quote, arguably the best in the league since Thanksgiving. How do we feel about what he had to say?
So, I love Colin Cowherd. I mean, a lot of times he's drinking the LA Kool-Aid like all of us. He talks highly of the Rams. He talks highly of the Chargers and the Lakers every time I watch him. And obviously, his show is based in LA.
He doesn't want what happened to Stephen A. to happen to him.
That's another topic. We can address that too at some point. But yeah, so I do believe the Rams are one of the better teams in the NFC. They proved that last year. For me to say top 2, I can't go that far. If they were to meet the Chiefs, I'm not of the belief that they will beat the Kansas City Chiefs. If they were to play the Buffalo Bills, I don't think they would beat them. I mean, even the Detroit Lions or the Washington Commanders. So I do believe that they are in the mix of some of the best teams in the NFL. And like you said, we talk about that game in Philadelphia, the divisional round game, a lot. I mean, if it weren't snowing, that it could have been a different outcome, a different Super Bowl representative in the NFC. And the Rams replaced Cooper Kupp with Davante Adams. That is an upgrade, even though Cooper Kupp is one of the best receivers in Rams history. The addition of Poona Ford is really good. He was a stud in the interior for the LA Chargers last season. They still need to fortify that linebacker spot. Still think they could boost that secondary a little bit more, particularly at cornerback. But this is a team, like I agree with Cowherd, is trending in the right direction, and their arrows going forward instead of going backwards. So, yeah, they are one of the better teams, especially on paper, entering this coming season.
Yeah, and let's not forget that this is a hard team to build around. Excuse me, because they're in a win now mentality while having to think about the future, trying to put the right people and playmakers around Matthew Stafford, while also being meticulous and calculated about the salary cap, about the guys they need to pay in the future. This isn't easy, trying to keep a team together while also eye on the prize, going Super Bowl or bust. I know for you, it doesn't feel like that, but there feels like for me a sense of urgency that if the Rams don't get it done this year, we're going to be right back, maybe with less momentum next season, trying to tinker again with Stafford's deal. Because before we move on really quickly, they're going to have to reevaluate Stafford. Just because Stafford signed a multi-year deal doesn't mean that we're not going to do this song and dance again next season, right?
Man, I hope not. I would hope that at least 2 years. I mean, I would like to see Stafford and Davante Adams kind of line up. I mean, Davante signed a 2-year deal. Stafford, hopefully this can be like a 2-year type situation where they can be aligned. And then maybe we'll reevaluate at the end of the 26 season. But overall, yeah, I mean, Stafford's timeline, that should be the Rams window right there. I mean, he's, upper 30s. You want to get him right here while he's still in the peak of his powers, at the tail end of his prime, while you have a young emerging star in Puka Nacua, a standout in the backfield in Kyron Williams. You got a Davante Adams, a future Hall of Famer that is still one of the best receivers in the National Football League. And then in the defense, you have a lot of young pieces to build around, particularly in Jared Verse, the defensive rookie of the year. So this is a team with a lot of pieces to build around. And I'm excited to see how they build the rest of their team through free agency and especially the upcoming draft next month, because that's going to tell you a lot where the Rams think that they can, bolster their team and fortify a lot of the positions ahead of the regular season.
What do you feel like the team needs still are?
That's a great question. I have a story coming out that says that exact area that the Rams have. And I think it's still linebacker and secondary, and probably if a third position, I think they can still tinker with that offensive line a little bit, but linebacker and secondary, particularly cornerback, are the 3 positions of need for the Rams. And why not? I mean, kick the tires with another receiver if you want to. Now, I don't think they should go get one in free agency. I'm talking about the draft. Maybe one of those mid-round picks on a young receiver that can maybe take the top off of the defense, or a receiver maybe kind of like a Deebo Samuel type that can be a kind of a gadget player. That's something the Rams haven't had in recent years. So to answer your question, the position needs linebacker, defensive back, offensive line.
There you go. There you have it. And this is the Tyler Dragon of USA Today. So how can we find your article that's going to drop tomorrow?
So you can find it on USA Today's main website, usatoday.com/sports, or you can look at my author page. All you have to type in is my name, and it literally comes up my author page on Google or MSNBC, Yahoo, wherever you want to, your search engine is. But that article is dropping. And on this podcast, I just revealed the Rams positions of need ahead of the NFL draft. So you won't find that anywhere but this podcast right now, because the article's not even up yet.
Yeah. I mean, he's breaking news for us. We don't even have to. Tyler Dragon of USA Today, you've been in the biz for such a long time, which is why we're so grateful to get your insight, particularly on the Rams here in LA. And speaking of, oh my gosh, today is just not a day for The Voice. I'm sorry.
The tea again.
I mean, seriously, guys.
I'm going to send you some.
We need to get a tea sponsor up in this business here, because somehow in the mornings I just I can't speak. But okay, just to catch you guys up, Erin here with Tyler, just to catch you guys up on what the Rams have been. Would you say the Rams have been the busiest team in free agency so far this first weekend?
I would say one of the busiest in the NFC. The busiest goes to the New England Patriots. They've spent over $200 million in free agency. So I got to give them, I mean, what they've done, kind of like reshaping their roster and Mike Vrabel's image. They've been the busiest team. But the Rams, certainly one of the busiest team in the NFC, if not the busiest in the NFC West, particularly Davante Adams. That's probably my favorite move of the whole offseason of any team. And then Apuna Ford, that's one of the most under radar impact moves in free agency as well. So those are 2 of the best moves in free agency. So I will say, while they haven't been the busiest, they've had 2 of the most impactful moves thus far in free agency.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I'll get your grade for the Rams in a moment, but like Tyler said, they picked up Davante Adams. It's important to look for a wide receiver in the draft. They only signed Tutu to a 1-year deal for $10 million. Of course, they re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo, Poona Ford, Coleman Shelton on the line. They are bringing back Ronnie Rivers. And then, they extended Alaric Jackson, and they're trying to sort of shore up their offensive line, which you think they may still need to tinker with, maybe during the draft. Yeah. So with that being said, a lot of those were the bigger moves, the bigger splashy moves, of course, with Davante Adams there in the mix. People have given the Rams like a B+, an A-. Where do you go when you put on your teacher cap and grade what you think the Rams have done so far?
I give them an A-.
Yeah.
And the reason because of a minus is I still think that they could have addressed the back end and the middle of their defense a little bit better, particularly linebacker. I don't think Nate Landman is the answer. And secondary, I think their secondary is pretty good, but I think they can get a little bit better. So A- because those two splash moves and the Davante Adams and Poona Ford, those are two of the best moves of free agency among all football teams. So that's why I give them A-.
Do you agree with when I was listening to Bleav in Giants, Bob Papa said the Rams are the strongest team in the West next year? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Okay, good.
And I say that because you look at the Seattle Seahawks, they lost the DK Metcalf in a trade to the Steelers. When I look at Sam Darnold, to me, that's a lateral move from Geno Smith. I'm not sure you got better at the quarterback position. They have some question marks along their offensive line. Now, they did get Cooper Kupp. He is going to be motivated when he plays the Rams. Trust me on that.
Well, first of all, because that was going to be the finale of the show.
Okay.
Now you have. Well, I was going to. Okay, we can wait. Go ahead. Well, because I was just going to say, we're dropping a bomb here. Now you've got to face your ex-boyfriend twice a year. Cooper signing, a 3-year, $45 million contract. And they bring on Davante. You can only imagine poor Matthew Stafford. He's just like, oh my God, how do I feel right now? He's like, I'm happy, but I can't act happy. And then Sam Darnold's going to be throwing to him. So how do you feel about the Cooper Kupp going to the, an NFC West division rival? You think he was like into it? You think he's like, you know what? Screw the LA Rams. I'm going to see him twice a week. And every game's going to be a revenge game against my ex.
So you used a great analogy in the ex-boyfriend. And so I want to put this question back on you. How would you feel if you had to face your ex-boyfriend?
Listen,
go ahead.
I'll be going to the gym. I'll be drinking my electrolyte water. I'll be putting on some extra primer and wearing something cute. If I had to see him twice a week, put on that gloss and just act like I'm unbothered AF. You know what I mean? I'm living my best life, my glow up. I mean, really, the goal is, to be completely honest, is to not think about it. Is to kind of act like, hey, that's in the past. It was a business decision. Cooper needed to go where he needed to go. But we can't forget that this guy's been with the team. 9 years? 10 years? How long has he?
Let's see. I think it's 9 years. I think it's 9 years, but I will check just in case I'm wrong.
I mean, get that. A 9-year relationship and your ex is now holding hands with someone cute and you got to act like you don't care.
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years, right? So, I mean, I think it's an interesting move. I think he had to go where it made the most sense for him and his family. A 3-year, $45 million contract. That's not a shabby deal. And he's gonna play with Sam Darnold. How do we feel about that? It's no Matthew Stafford.
My math is terrible. Sorry, 8 years. I can't believe it. Yeah, my math. I wasn't math major.
Almost
But
10.
yes.
You were a math major?
No.
Oh, geez. I was going to say.
Not a math major. 8 years. I want to
No
make that
one
clear before.
in journalism and broadcast were ever math majors. Okay. We were calm and we were journalist majors. We were zero. There's a reason we stick away from math. Yeah.
Math was probably my worst subject, which you can tell because I could not get the math right there. But yeah, so I do like the landing spot for Kupp. I mean, he's from Washington, so he's theoretically going home. Probably end his career with the Seahawks. He got paid. He got the bag. And, he's had, when you look at his overall body of work, not even counting whatever he does with the Seahawks, he's had a very good career. I mean, Super Bowl champion, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, one of the best Rams receiver of all time, ranks third in like receptions and touchdown catches. So overall, I do think it's a good move for Seattle, considering that they lost DK Metcalf, they lost Tyler Lockett. And so he's going to fill that type of, slot receiver role, that kind of route runner type role. And he doesn't have to be the number one option. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba that will be the bona fide number one receiver. And so Kupp will be guarded by a lot of teams' second best cornerback, or sometimes their third best cornerback. And that's the type of role that I think he will be good in. I mean, he's not a number one receiver anymore. We saw that with the Rams, and that's not a knock. He's had a lot of injuries over the past few seasons, and they've taken a toll on his body, especially those lower extremity injuries, the ankle, the foot, the hamstring. Those take a toll on your body, especially when you're a route technician like a Cooper Kupp is. But yeah, when the Rams face them twice a week, they better get their popcorn ready, buckle their chin strap, and be ready to play ball, because he's going to be motivated. Like you said, it's like going to your exes and you want to show out. Yeah. You want to make them feel it that they miss you. That's because the Rams essentially chose Davante Adams over Cooper Kupp. Now, I don't blame them. I would choose Davante Adams over Cooper Kupp too, football wise.
It's so messed up.
Yeah.
It's so true, but it's
a business.
It's a business. It is absolutely a business. And to piggyback on what you said, Cooper hasn't been healthy since 2021, an entire season, whereas Davante, I think he's missed 3 games in 3 years. So he's tested, but however, weren't those 3 games this past season? So Davante has proven he is a more durable guy. Let's just hope they can squeeze the juice out of Davante and he stays healthy, because I agree with you. When that guy is all in, he's electrifying, and it'll be super fun to watch how this Rams offense is going to look. This season. Okay. So real quick, which team to you has won free agency? And if it's not the Rams, what is your one question you still have about this team right now? Because draft day is just over a month away, and, mock drafts galore at that number 26 spot. It's anybody's guess, and you think maybe they're going to address somewhere on the defense.
So I have to say the team that won free agency, probably one of my favorite moves, have been the Washington Commanders. What they have done with the Laramie Tunsil trade, getting a Deebo Samuel too. So you got a number 2 receiver, kind of a gadget player in Samuel, and then you fortified that offensive line with one of the best left tackles in all of football. So I love what they did. The Rams too. I mean, we spoke about it all show, even all last show. They got an electric receiver in Davante Adams and a really good under the radar move in Puka Ford, defensive tackle. The Patriots, they've been the most active team, and I'll have to give them credit because they spent they're spending their money. They had the most salary cap space, and they're like, okay, we're going to throw the bag at all these players and see if they stick. like a Milton Williams, a Carlton Davis. I mean, what the Patriots have done, I mean, they are trying to rebuild in a hurry, expedite that process. And so I think those are the three teams that really have jumped out to me in free agency. So, yeah, I would say those three.
Okay. Well, I heard a rumor we're going to get Sam Farmer of the LA Times to join us for our next episode. I love that guy. He is a legend in the business. But that's the latest from us here at Bleav in Rams. A little update on the action, free agency, the latest signings. Cooper, now a Seahawk. Getting used to seeing him in that jersey is gonna be weird. And Colin Cowherd saying that the Rams are now number 2 on his power rankings spot, and that defense since Thanksgiving has been arguably the best in the NFL. That is something I am excited to hear. I know Rams fans are excited to hear, and it'll be interesting to see how the Rams will build on that in the draft as we kick off, a very exciting free agency and draft coming down the pipeline. I mean, that'll do it for us. This has been a fun show, Ty. How do you feel about it? How would you grade this show if you put your teacher cap on? A-?
It's always an A with you, Erin.
A+.
Always an A. Our show's always an A because we have just the best host in you. So, yeah,
you know what? You are too good to me. I think that comment deserves another USA Today plug. Check out Tyler Dragon's amazing article. It is dropping tomorrow, but he gave you some good tidbits, breaking news on the show today. Go check it out, USA Today, or just Google the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tyler Dragon. That'll do it for us. I'm Erin Coscarelli, Bleav in Rams. We will speak with you guys next time, and we're going to get Sam Farmer, so stick around. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, guys.